crispy chili beef. It's one of those Cantonese dishes that is so popular, not just here, but all over the world. And this is my chili beef recipe. So we're going to start with a base of ginger, garlic, 1 to 2 chilies, depending on how hot you want it, onto the steak. I've got some rump steak here. I actually froze this for about 45 minutes. When you slice your chunks or strips of beef out, then it's much easier to get sort of more uniform strips of beef. I'm just going to carefully take that in half before I then cut strips of beef out. Now I can do nice chunky strips of my rump steak. The meat's all cut up. I'm going to season this or marinate my meat. A couple of spoons of light soy sauce, roughly a teaspoon or so of sesame oil, and then a pinch of sugar. And in Chinese cooking, we believe that everything has its own sweetness, so that pinch of sugar accentuates that sweetness. And then you want to give that a good massage through, get all that sauce and sesame oil wrapped around the meat rather than sitting at the bottom of the bowl. So I'm just going to make up the sauce. I'm actually starting with what we call a Qingqiang black vinegar, which is a black rice vinegar. But if you can't find this, then just swap it out with a thin balsamic vinegar, 4 spoons of honey, and that's going to caramelize very quickly because of that honey. And then I'm going for 3 tablespoons of ketchup. And then the last sauce that I'm going to add to this is just about half a tablespoon of dark soy, and that will really deepen that sort of deep red colour. So my beef's been marinating away. Time to crack the egg in. The egg's just to help sort of bind the flour. I've got lots of corn flour here, and I'm going to keep adding more corn flour into this sort of eggy marinated meat. And what it creates is a sort of dry, dusty, white batter. You'll know when it's ready when you can kind of lift your beef up and separate out your pieces of beef by just sort of running your fingers through it. Right, onto the cooking. Now, anything wooden will tell you sort of what heat your oil is at. If it fizzes in hot oil, you're at about 180 degrees C. I'm just sort of shaking my beef strips out of sort of any excess flour. Now I'm going to cook this in batches to keep each individual piece nice and crispy. Just carefully lay that in, give it a little gentle push through to separate out your pieces of beef. Oh, there's something very naughty but nice about this. So you can hear that there's less bubbling, there's much less fizzing. That's when I know that the beef is going to be really nice and crispy on the outside, because there's less moisture coming out of that. It's well sealed. Whoa, look how crispy that is. So from here on in, it is seriously quick cooking. I've got my wok on a good high heat. A little bit of oil, ginger into that wok. Give it a quick stir. Garlic, another quick stir. Chili, of course, with chili beef, and then sauce straight over the top. And you should hear that immediate sizzle. Never lose your sizzle. Now you want to bring this to a vigorous boil all the way through the sauce before I add the beef in. And this is where the wok toss is seriously important. And I know, Ainsley, you love a good wok toss. So now it's starting to caramelize and bubble all the way through. My beef is going to go in. Beef in. Flick through 5 or 6 times. And to keep the crisp, no more than that, straight out onto your plate. My crispy chili beef, over to you, Ainsley.